right, we are live.
We are live. And
We
like I just
are.
said, as long as I'm following my instructions, things go well. It's always fascinates me how that is happening. And now I'm putting my recording on for the can.
Hmm.
Yes,
All right. Hey
we're
guys,
getting better
how
and
are
better. Hey,
you?
I'm like, man, what a week. So what have you been doing this week?
Well, I have been marketing my scarves. That's what I've been doing in preparation for, major sales. That's
Well,
what I've
hey,
been
we
doing.
don't mind that. So I guess that's what's like tied over your upper body.
Right, tie it across. I wanted to try something different. It's just the scarf tied backwards because it's a V in the back, but it just looks so
Yeah.
cool over this simple black spandex fitted shirt, along with my Donna Lorraine bangles, bracelets.
I love it. Christmas came
Yes,
early.
yes, absolutely. So,
Oh,
how are you doing? What have you been up to? I've been hearing things about you. What have you been doing?
oh man, you wouldn't believe it. Nobody probably who knows me would believe it, but I redone my kitchen.
Oh my
But
goodness.
but I actually did it myself with my own two hands.
Hmm.
You know, sanded the cabinets, painted the counters, and it worked.
Wow.
Put
Did your
new
son help
paint in.
you?
He did occasionally,
Okay.
but I think that added the couple of hours that I thought I would not have to have. But what can you do? They're there, they see your painting, and like, oh, there, yeah, come on, do, and then your projects just go in slow mo.
Right. Well,
But
it's a learning experience for him. That's cool.
oh, and it was for me. When you watch those YouTube videos, I do have to say, I mean, they are super, super helpful. I mean, I probably would have not done the sync right
Hmm.
if I have watched it, and even there, tell you the measurements and everything, and I was like, yeah, oh, put everything out and measure it and so on.
Hmm.
But then when I want to put the sync in, oh, it was still like a quarter inch uh, too short of space.
Uh-huh.
So I had to go to Neighbor, get an electric saw and just make that bigger. That was a big mess. I
Wow.
realized I've never handled an electric saw before. It was a challenge because you start thinking of the chainsaw massacre and all that, and I'm like, oh, these are
Wow.
dangerous.
So you mean to tell me that you actually put a sink into?
Oh
You
yeah, I
actually
did the whole thing, the plumbing,
Wow.
and you know what? It's working.
Wow.
It was dripping yesterday, but today it's not anymore. So I must have done something right in refitting it. But it was just fine.
My
Uh,
goodness.
as much as a non-handyman can have fun. And,
Uh-huh.
but anyhow, so today we have actually two guests. We
All right.
advertised with one guest. Our first guest is
Aubrey Lynn. Stylishly
yeah,
Aubrey Lynn, the director of Kids Fashion Week San Diego.
and our
Yes.
second guest is oh, he
Yeah.
didn't show up the last two shows. So let's see if we can get him in, and then I will announce him if he makes it in.
I love it. Okay.
Uh,
That's fair enough. Hmm.
that's fair enough, I guess. Okay, so let's go and see what happens. I always love that magic of
All
making
right.
people. No way. Okay, let's see. Is he going to make it with audio and sound? And Aubrey is on to you. Who would have ever thought that letting people into a show could be so exciting?
Hi, I'm coming in.
Hey there.
Hi,
We have some sound for Aubrey.
let me see the video.
That's great. Hello, Aubrey.
Hi, let me get. Why is the video not?
Hold on. You know, if you want to, I can. Oh, interesting.
Please select another video camera. It says.
Hey, that's okay. You're not the only one.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, somebody's at my front door.
Oh,
That's funny. Hey, Fabrice, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, that's great. That's already 100% better
right.
than last time.
Yes.
So anyway, so now you're in a race, and I know you love racing between you and Aubrey, who is going to be the first on the screen.
I'm
Okay.
gonna try.
Yeah, that's all I can say. You know, we are just watching, you know, I mean, the funny part is, you know, when we are doing the live show, it's really that people actually see the full screens and see what's going on instead of when we have the canned version where it's, you know, in speaker mode.
Mhm.
And apparently Aubrey and Fabrice have the same issue joining us visually. So let me see if I can do something from my side.
Here we go.
There we go. Hello, Fabrice. How are
Right.
you?
You.
Hi, Chef Fabrice.
Good afternoon, Liz. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful now that you're here. Awesome.
So Fabrice, you're literally a surprise guest.
Yes. Last week we had a few difficulties with the iPad. I apologize.
That's okay.
That's okay. Aubrey, how are
Yeah.
you doing?
I'm good. Just trying to get this video camera to work.
Okay.
I don't know what's the deal. Mhm.
That's okay, Aubrey. Not a problem. Aubrey, would you mind
Yes.
then if we just go ahead with Fabrice for right now?
Yes, do that, please. I will get it to work. So I'll put myself on mute. And
On mute, I guess.
Mhm.
So Fabrice, just give us, you know, a short introduction, you know, of who you are, and
So,
you know what you went through, your background, and what made you stay for 20 years in your last position.
my
Go ahead.
goodness. So I came from France in 1998 to the US, where I landed in the Midwest. I stayed there a few years. I came to San Diego in 2001.
Mhm.
And I was the sous chef for the Fontainebleau at the Westgate. A year later on, I took over as executive chef, and yeah, it has been a great blessing, you know, to be there for a long time. But time goes by quick, you know. I came here to stay 2-3 years. I bought a house. The market crashed, so I had to stick around. And yeah, it's I live really close from work. I live 3 blocks away, so I live like European lifestyle in downtown San Diego.
That's
I walk
cool.
yeah.
Which for many would be like, oh, he's walking to work. That's actually a luxury. I mean, people really don't see that. But I just want to come back, you know, a little bit to your background as a chef before we move over to the background as a human being, because chefs have been known, especially in the old days, being throwing pots at their employees, threatening them with knives and all that. And you come still out of how shall I say, a generation which actually did experience that.
Yes, like I always say my toughest job was my apprenticeship, where the chef he had a character, let's put it that way. And, I started cooking, I was 15, and I told myself, I don't want to be like this. So I try really my hard, and it's a lot of stress being in a kitchen. You have a high expectation between, the guests, the staff. It's a lot of pressure, but I kept reminding myself, you just can't be like this. And I try really hard to be as good at for the guests as with the people working here at the Westgate.
Fabrice, why I'm asking you and come back to that point is I just want to be able for people to understand how it was when you're 15 in an apprenticeship.
It is tough.
Yeah, but did you have any rights?
No. No, but
I'm sorry I'm pressuring on this point because here we are in Europe, we're in France, which is called the Mecca of of food, and you're an apprentice and you have zero rights and you're totally submissive.
And like in France, cooking is something they take very serious. Each detail on the plate, and the chef in a restaurant or in a hotel in Europe in general is like a god, because he's the icon of the place. And you come as a 15-year-old kid, you have no right. So, the only right you have it's mop the floor after everybody's gone at midnight. But, it groom you to be better, And, if you work in like the high volume places, it will build you for the future. After that, it's like a launch pad, and then everything will be easy from then.
Wow. So how old were you when you started cooking?
I was 15 and a half.
Okay. So, wow. You must have been practicing a lot with your family. I don't know who the chef was.
Not at all.
So how did you just take up cooking at that age?
Well, my neighbor was the chef where I went to work for, and it was during spring break, and I didn't know really what I want to do. And then, so he's like, well, you can always cook. You can come at the hotel, and you can spend your vacation there. Look, and if you like it, you can do an apprenticeship and start with us. And so I'm like, hey, it's a nice guy, and I know his kid, and so I went there for 2 weeks just to try out to see if I would like cooking. So I signed up, and it was fun. It was a fun 2 weeks, and then I was supposed to sign my contract and then go back 3 months later on. In the meantime, the chef left because he found a better job in Brittany. And so my contract was signed, so I go anyway. And they had this new chef that was like a tough cookie. And then I'm like, oh, this is not at all what I signed up for. But at the end of the day, it was really good. Like for a few years, I did not go back after my apprenticeship. And then one day I went back just to see if the chef was still there. And then we had coffee, and he was like, you know, I was a little tough on you at the time. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, you did good.
Right.
Because he helped me, you know, to see, you know, by working in high-class hotel, like Michelin star places, you know, you can travel and you can get a good job.
Yeah, like you did eventually.
Like I end up doing, yeah, you know, like, and up to today, you know, my, because I was his first apprentice and he still take me as a reference of like, I made it, you know, because I started from a little town in France, working in the best restaurant in that city. And then I traveled the world. I mean, I traveled to Europe. I end up coming to the US and it's many kids, you know, that start cooking. They want to be a chef, you know, not just for 2-3 months, but to have a career in a hotel, stay many years, being well established.
Wow. I think that's awesome that you started at the top, pretty much.
Well, you know, like, and that was throughout my career. I never went to Paris or those cities because I didn't like the big city too much. But everywhere I went, I made sure that I was working in the best restaurant there. And that's how I ended up coming to the Westgate. You know, at the time, the Westgate, Eric was there, and I was looking for, yeah, a good place to be.
Yeah, but before you made it, I mean, all the way to San Diego, you also, I think you cooked for the president of Peru.
I cooked for the president of Ecuador because my wife is from there. Yeah.
Yes.
And I took my first chef job. I was 25 in the Caribbean island in San Martin.
Yeah.
And that was a mistake. I stayed only 1 year and I was too young. So I came back to the US back then. And then it's when I joined Ritz-Carlton and I stayed with them for a year and a half there. And yeah, before that, I would travel. I went to Germany. I worked in Luxembourg, in England. So I like to travel around.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, which makes your cuisine also international and very adaptable. I mean, I remember you toying with molecular cuisine in San Diego when nobody even wanted to touch it.
Yes, it was the first start, and we kept on doing that for a few years. You know, now we don't do it anymore, and it was more. You know, it's if you have just a restaurant, you can play more than, you know, hotel is more difficult to handle because like from the restaurant, we have to do the room service, the bar, the afternoon teas. And sometimes it gets a little bit too crazy and it's hard to maintain the same consistency. And that's the, you know, the difference between a restaurant and a hotel. You know, the restaurant, so you got your menu set and that's what you do day in, day out. The hotel is very different. And that's why I like hotels. You know, you can have a breakfast for 200 people and a wedding for 300 people. And at the same time, you have your restaurant and room service. And then you get people having a party at the pool. You need to be able to juggle between all of that.
Wow. Can I ask you a question? What is your specialty? What's your favorite thing to do as far as, you know, being a chef? What is your favorite food that you love?
You know, I don't really have like, I like diversity. And I have, especially because of my wife coming from Latin America, now I have big tenderness with all Latin flavors. And not only Mexican flavor, but really from Latin America. Each time we go to Ecuador, I really enjoy the food there a lot. But yeah, I like it. You know, like through my life, I work with cooks from all over the world, with Indian cooks from the Philippines, from Germany, and each one, you know, taught me a lot about their culture as well. But the thing I like to cook the most, I would say, it's to cook for my wife at home.
Oh,
have a good, you know, cool. At the end of the day.
Okay, we make sure she sees that recording.
Yes.
That's cool.
So, but from there now, you have a full day. You're
Yes.
already working between 10 and 12 hours a day easily. Um, and then you took up something very, very differently. And there was something else you wanted to do when you were 15 and a half, if I remember right, and that was playing soccer.
Yes. And well, I was trying to qualify to get a scholarship, but I didn't get the scholarship, and that's how I ended up going to culinary school.
Yeah, but then somehow it must have been in the back of your mind, soccer, running, 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 running. And suddenly we have a guy who doesn't just do marathons, but does ultra marathons. I mean, like running 40, 50, 60. Um, you ran Badwater.
Yeah.
Would you mind
And,
explaining our viewers which are not familiar with that type of extreme sport, what that is?
well, ultra marathon is anything beyond a marathon, so anything over 26 miles. And so it can be 30 miles, 50, 100. And how it all started is, so as a good French fellow, I will smoke my pack of cigarettes a day, enjoy my little beer, my glass of wine. And my dad died of lung cancer. And I told myself, I have the knowledge now, so I need to quit smoking. So to quit smoking, I pick up running. And so my challenge was, okay, I'm gonna give 1 year to quit smoking, and I'm gonna run the rock and roll marathon. And after 1 year of training, I lined up of the start line of the rock and roll marathon. I was still smoking, and I felt like a total failure, because I'm like, my goal was to quit smoking, and I'm still smoking, but I'm like, I'm there, so I'm gonna run anyway. And so I ended up running the marathon. I did okay. And then I was watching a documentary about Badwater, which is 135 miles in the Death Valley. And I was like, oh, if I do one, can I do 5 in a row? So then I spoke with a few friends how to get in. And they're like, well, to run that, you need to run 100-mile race. And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna run one. And like, no, you can't, because you need to qualify. So to qualify, you need to run 50 miles. And a good friend of mine is like, I'm running a 50-mile race in a month, come over and join. So I went there, and I was from jogging in San Diego Bay to waking up and go at 5 o'clock in the morning in the middle of Mount Laguna in the mountain to go run 50 miles. And that was brutal. I walked the last 10 miles. I told myself I will never do that again. And 2 months later on, I was like, oh, I must try again. And I end up training better, eating better, quitting smoking. And yeah, start to race a lot in South California. I did Badwater. I traveled a bit. I went to UTMB in Europe, did a few races in Colorado, Utah. And my best races have been over 100-mile race. And it's a journey for, when you do an ultra marathon, it's a journey.
Liz,
Yes.
100 miles. 100 miles. How long would that take us?
and
With a
and
car.
I love walking, not jogging, not running, but walking. So I know that would take
miles.
days.
I mean, it's crazy. And the weird thing is, I mean, just hearing that, you would be, oh my God, there's this big support system, and. But all these runners, actually they self-finance. So what is the cost to you? Like when you do this race, and sorry if I simplify it, you run around the Mont Blanc in France. How much
Yep.
does that cost you?
Well, the Mont Blanc is quite pricey. You know, the race by itself is pretty inexpensive. The entry fee vary between, I would say, $200 to $700. But it's a traveling that is very costly because you need to fly, you need to rent a car, hotel room. And if you do a 100-mile race, you need to go a few days before. The race is 24 to 70 hours long. So you need to take anywhere from 5 days to a week off. And, you know, you need crew
Can
people.
I just come back to how long does the race take?
Well, if you take most 100-mile race,
the race itself.
The race itself, like for me, the Mont Blanc, I did 29 hours.
So you're running for 29 freaking hours.
Yes, but the cutoff is 72 hours, so you have 3 days.
Oh, yeah, of course, sure, yes. Great.
And
you know, I have that little mount on the hill. I just sat there to relax.
But yeah, you know, a local race, like if you do a race in South California, you don't need to travel much. It would be maybe $1,000, $1,500. Now, if you go out of state with the airfare, you can go anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, I would say. Because all those races, it's in the middle of the mountain usually. So it's very hard to access. It's not like you can take the bus to go to the starting line. And then you need your crew to go along the race at some point if you need water or anything, where they have the aid station available for the crew.
Yeah. So during all this races and everything, you found kind of a new sport, which was cycling.
No. No.
I know you, but you know what I'm leading in.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was getting old. I was 43. Well, when I started cycling, I was 41, but passing 40, you are not the young chicken anymore. So a few friends of mine like, oh, you know, you should start to do some bike as well, you know, just to do CrossFit because running is hard on the body. So I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna get a bike and I'm gonna start biking. And then, yeah, I did a little bit of road bike, mountain bikes. And then 4 years ago, it was 4 years ago, then I got my bike accident.
Exactly. So tell us about that, because that was literally life-changing for you.
Yeah, so it was the week before Valentine's Day, 4 years ago. So I go for my bike ride morning and here in San Diego Bay. And I end up crashing with a truck. Ooh. And I don't remember anything hitting the truck. I just remember being on the pavement and there was a Coast Guard telling me, don't move, you have a lot of injuries. And then I passed out again. Ooh. Then I woke up a week later on, I was on the ICU bed at UCSD in San Diego. Ooh. And
a week later.
Then I look at the doctor. I had no clue what happened to me. And all the people from the ICU kept touching my legs and my arm, make sure I feel something. And then I'm like, okay, so I look at myself and I'm like, oh, so today is Monday. So I guess I'm going back home on Friday because I look a little bit up. And then the doctor on ICU shake his head and she's like, I don't think so. And then she told me what happened to me. And so when I crashed, I fell on the asphalt. Then I had 14 broken bones in my back. Ooh. I had 5 broken ribs on the right, 2 broken ribs on the left. One of the broken ribs put a hole in my heart. Oh. Then I had 5 broken bones on the neck.
Yeah.
Oh my
The-
goodness.
The main bone C2 was split in half, so they put a screw, which is about 2 inch long, in the neck.
Mhm.
Then I had 3 fractures on my brain. And so with the internal bleeding, I had to have heart surgery. They put they put a stent on my heart. And right after the operation, my lung collapsed. And yeah,
My goodness, you've been through something. Wow.
and
Mm.
but I'm very appreciative of and especially today, with the coronavirus, and we always talk about the nurse hospital, but I experienced the ICU bed for 10 days there, and like what they done with me, I'm blown away with what they done.
Wow.
And
And then you started running again.
and then I started running again.
Well, good for you. Keep it moving. Yeah, that's awesome. That you kept going, that's awesome.
It's when
Mhm.
there is a will, there is a way.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that is true. That is true. And actually, if I may take that as a bridge over to Aubrey, because if there is a will, there is a way. We had you on the show like what, 7 months ago, 8 months ago?
Yeah, I think it was July of last
Mhm.
year.
Yeah, and you were exiling yourself.
I was exiling myself.
Only to come back and to bring us some fantastic news. But before you bring us the fantastic news, for viewers which haven't seen the show, just let us know what you did, what you are doing. Sorry.
Yeah, so last year, coronavirus, Kids Fashion Week did not happen. However, we did do a community event in December. We did a toy drive for the kids of Lemon Grove, and we involved businesses, small businesses, to help them out during the pandemic, and drive traffic to them so that they can get their business booming, and drop off toys. And we that was very successful. I forget how many toys in the end we ended up with, 800 possibly, just in the community. And we blessed like 200 and something families, I want to say. So that was really great. So we were able to do something at least last year. That was a community event using, Kids Fashion Week to, at least do something for the kids. So this year, we did a community trash pickup in January, and then now we are doing the kids model forum this weekend on Sunday. So that's really exciting. This is our first actual thing with kids, and our first, introducing myself, introducing DC ladies, and introducing Selena Hall, our model coach, Rajina Wright. She's also a model, and she's going to be speaking on body confidence, and Michael Cox from Black San Diego magazine, and he'll be talking about his magazine, and giving them pointers and tips, and even just about what does he look for when he brings print into his magazine. So it should be really, really a cool thing for the kids to do something creative on Zoom instead of just having to learn. And we're hoping to do something in person soon as well. So, but we will see.
All right. Well, I think this is a major event for San Diego, especially for kids. Aubrey, could you tell me exactly what this means for you personally to be able to be the director of Kids Fashion Week San Diego? What does that mean to you?
What does it mean? I don't really know really what it means to me. To me, it's just more of just, being able to give myself to the community and the kids. And I think even more so after what they've all been through last year. I mean, obviously last year, if it didn't happen, I would just be doing it because I love the industry and I want to give back. But because we are a nonprofit 501c3. And so it really is one of those things. It's just me giving back to them. You know, I grew up doing fashion. So for me, it's just my love. So, but I think this year, after last year, just giving them something more, giving them hope, giving them dreams and ideas, and being able to create and imagine and go with things that they love, and being able to just, you know, have a small knit community who also loves what they do, and encourage them in that. I think that they all really need encouragement right now, just going through what they did. And I hope that we bring a lot of love and encouragement and community to them in their lives the best we can. So, yeah.
Right. I think that's going to make a big difference. And to me, all the children that are involved because of what's going on now, and it gives them hope, you know, because of the pandemic, the kids can't be, you know, they can't go to school. And, you know, for you to be able to host something of this magnitude, I think it's awesome. I think it's amazing. And they're going to be able to interact with each other, you know, on Zoom, but they'll meet, you know, be able to meet new friends.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, even outside of school. And I think they're going on hybrid learning in April, I believe. I'm not really positive, but they're going to do hybrid learning, which is like, I think it's a couple days in school or half day and then days at home still. So, I mean, I know sports are starting to open up, which is a huge deal. I wish they were open a long time ago, but knowing that sports is opening up, we feel definitely adamant about being able to do something in person as well. So I think that that's great. I mean, just to be able to, you know, do another outlet that's not a sport, you know, but something else that's more artsy, creative. I just, we're really excited about it. I mean, obviously our first big thing here. So, I mean, you know, the first one, but we're excited to see how, you know, Sunday goes. And we already got quite a few signups. And so that's kind of cool just to see people signing up and, you know, wanting to be a part of it and involved. So I think that's our goal, is just to, you know, branch out and see what happens. So.
No, it's great to hear, you know, just a community going back and, you know, making things happen. And well, you never know, you know, if you need a live venue. And I'm looking at Fabrice right now. The Westgate is not a bad venue to be, and especially he has a lot of experiences with kids, and you know, I mean, for really younger kids actually. And you never know, maybe you two should just get in touch and see.
All right, that sounds good. So Aubrey, oh, I'm sorry, Eric.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So what is the process like for what you have coming up this weekend? What does it entail that you guys are going to do? Could you walk us through that a little bit?
Yeah. So we're kind of just our first thing. So we're kind of just introducing Kids Fashion Week, you know, what we're about. And, you know, obviously the ladies from DC will be on this, but we, you know, are introducing SoCal to them. And we have myself, I'll open it up, and Selena Hall, she's the model coach, and she will be talking and speaking about her journey in modeling. And we're going to open it up for the kids to be able to ask questions. You know, a lot of these kids possibly have never modeled before. And so they might have questions. They might just be curious and, oh, well, have you ever been in, you know, like, have you ever been in a magazine or whatever it might be? And so kind of opening up for her to be able to introduce herself. And then Rajina Wright, she's going to do body confidence and talk to them about being confident in who you are and in your body. And, you know, that's a big deal too, especially for these young kids and their ages and what they go through on a daily basis, bullying or whatever it might be. It's very important that we encourage them about, you know, we all look different and it's okay. Like we're human, and we just, the most beautiful people are the most unique, like look wise, and it's like, you're fine. And then we have, Michael Cox talking about San Diego, or Black San Diego Magazine. And so he'll be speaking about, that, and again, like encouraging them to, and just talking about his magazine, and, having them answer questions about anything that they have, curious about magazines, or how to get in them, or if he'll ever do a kids section, possibly. We're curious about that too. And just to allow him to, get a little bit of exposure to just being, newer to the industry as well as of last year. So at least in San Diego.
Right. So does this mean only people in San Diego can participate in this?
No, all of SoCal. So SoCal. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to have some people on that are actually from DC. Some of the models, they just want to be a part of it. They've been waiting for San Diego to open. We ended up being at SoCal now. So SoCal to open, and they've been very excited about having another branch of them. And so they're stoked. And so that's just exciting, just to know that they're on board, and they're just as excited as if they were here. So we're going to have some of those kids on. And I'm not really sure if they'll talk. I would hope the kids will interact. I think that'd be super cute. I don't know if they will. Who knows really what they're going to fully do. But yeah, it's just kind of just opening it up and having it be something that they're able to join and have fun with, and proceed into an actual live kind of thing. So speaking of kids,
is that Ro back there?
Okay, that's Ro. Say hi.
Have a say
Hi,
hello.
Ro. Hey, baby. That's our little supermodel right there, huh?
All right, you say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. She's going to steal the show.
Yeah.
It's all good.
For sure.
That's the beauty about being on live.
Yeah. That is.
You
You hear them in the background, they're like yelling. Yeah.
No, it's so cool. But I'm very glad, that after all you've been through, actually, that the project is still alive. It's really coming to fruition right now.
Yeah.
And the next step after that is we're going to do something big.
That is the goal.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you hung in there, because a lot of times when things kind of are put to a halt, we kind of stop.
Yeah.
But it's really meant for all of us to just keep going, and you don't know how things are going to turn out. So I just want to tell you myself personally that I'm really proud of you as a friend, as a, just a wonderful woman. I'm really proud of you, and I'm excited for you, for what this is going to mean for your future. Yeah, this is awesome.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me.
Yes, absolutely. So if you'd like to talk about the two young ladies from DC, if you want to give us a little bit of their background and what they do, and that would be awesome.
So there's Antea, Akila, and Crystal, and Johanna. And the first three of them, they're the ones who founded Kids Fashion Week, DMB, up there in DC. So there's DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Right, you got it.
Yeah, and so they co-founded this about 5 years ago now. This year, April 18th will be their next show. They did a virtual one last year, and it was absolutely incredible. It was amazing. I was just watching it dumbfounded, because I've seen a lot of virtual shows last year, and I just wasn't. It's nothing like going to a real show, right? So I was just like, oh, okay, Kids Fashion Week, cool. They're going to do a virtual one. I mean, it's still cool because it's kids and they're going to have fun. But after watching it, I was blown away. And I was like, this is a real good show. Like
Mhm.
they had a green screen and they did this whole background situation for each designer. And
Mhm.
really came out to just a fabulous, display of the collections. And then also just, you can tell the kids were just loving it, strutting their stuff.
Mhm.
So it was very cool. So I think it's their 4th year doing a show, would be this year. I believe it's their 4th year. So
Okay.
yeah, they founded it. They have amazing things in DC for them. They have workshops for the kids,
Mhm.
from writing, like script writing. They have kid hosts. They have like they're teaching them to be little entrepreneurs, which is super
Right.
great. And
Right.
and
Mhm.
they have the whole gamut of fashion, not just modeling. I mean, designing and all the things. And that is definitely what we're trying to implement here.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a really cool mirror once we actually get it going from there to here. And we're really pumped, and they're super excited. So yeah, they've created an amazing nonprofit up there. I mean, absolutely amazing. I'm just super blessed to be a part of it down here. So
Right.
yeah.
Mhm.
That is wonderful. Hearing that, it's like everybody is on the right path.
Mhm. Exactly.
Exactly. Oh,
Right.
loving. Aubrey, is
Yes.
there anything else that you think, our viewers and listeners should know?
They should go on to Kids Fashion Week Network, kfwnetwork.com, and check it out, especially if they have children who are interested in the fashion industry here in
Yep.
SoCal. And
Mhm.
and if they know people who are, definitely send. It's a free virtual forum this Sunday at 2:00. It's free, so they just need to sign up, and they'll get a link, and they'll be able to
Cool.
join us. So it will be cool just to have a room full of virtual people, virtual kids.
Mhm.
And parents can sit there with their kids and check it out, and just see if it's a good fit for them. And
Mhm.
yeah, definitely follow them on their social media. Their Instagram is Kids Fashion Week Network, and you can check out that. You can check out me, stylishly underscore Aubrey Lynn. Oh no, I'm sorry, stylishly underscore positive.
Ah,
And yeah, and
Positive.
so positive. And yeah, I mean, I'm a stylist as well in San Diego, so I style, and then LA too a bit. And
Mhm.
so I style, and I do this for the love of it. So
All right. And I do
yeah.
have another question for
Okay.
you. I'd be curious to know how many how many kid fashion designers that you guys have found in the SoCal area.
So due to the pandemic, we never got
Mhm.
that far.
Oh,
We
okay.
didn't even get the furthest we're getting is actually this model forum is
Okay.
actually. Yeah, so
Okay.
last year was really focused on more or less community. It was more
Mhm.
about giving back because we couldn't meet, and we just wanted to make sure everyone was staying safe. I mean, kids still couldn't go to school or anything, so we
Mhm.
really kind of had to play it up more, go to the Instagram pages, or watch the
Mhm.
virtual show in DC and things like that. But they did get a lot of people in San Diego watching the virtual show. So
Right.
I think that alone was great. And I mean, just keep pumping that it's going to
Mhm.
happen here. It's going to happen here,
Right.
so that they're aware of that. But
Mhm.
yeah, unfortunately, last year just wasn't
Okay.
that but it's okay. I mean, we're good. We all had to pivot and learn.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
I think that it was meant to be. If we would have did last year's show, we wouldn't have thought to do the toy drive for the kids in the community.
Oh, right.
So if
Right.
you really would have thought about it like that, it's kind of awesome, because
Mhm.
now it's kind of like a staple, like, oh, the kids toy drive, yeah, that
Right.
actually needs to be something that we incorporate in Kids Fashion Week now. So it's kind of a cool thing that it actually led us to more of a community type of give back to the kids.
Right. I think that's awesome. Yeah. Now you're going to be expected, like you said, to do the toy drive.
Yeah,
Once
we've
yearly.
been asked
Yeah.
by the firefighters here in the community. They came up to me and asked me, and it was like, "This was a great thing you did.
Mhm.
Are you doing it next year? We want to be a part of it." And so, which was great. You know, I mean, it's awesome, but yeah, it's gonna, it's gonna be it's gonna be a lot, but it's a really cool thing. I mean, anything for the kids and giving back, so it's a good thing.
Right. Yeah. Because to me, right now, it's all about the kids, because none of this is their fault. None of it.
No.
So we need to do everything we can for our kids,
Yeah.
and grandkids.
Yes. Yes.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally agree. And
Mhm.
I would even push it further and say it wasn't your fault, it wasn't Aubrey's fault, and it wasn't Fabrice's fault either. Just for the record.
It wasn't your fault. Yeah.
But I just want to quickly go back to Fabrice,
Mhm.
because there's something the Westgate has done, and I was like thinking of should even mention it or not, but for people which are still downtown, and there's really so many people are working from home right now. There are not that many people actually in downtown and eating out for lunch, but the Westgate has created a lunch menu, which, by the way, I like very much because it includes beer and wine.
So funny.
I love Fabrice. So, and it's how much, Fabrice?
So it's a $10 special Monday to Friday. And on Monday, we have a salad and iced tea to, get better from the weekend. Then we have Taco Tuesday, margarita. On Wednesday, we do burger and beer. Thursdays, flatbread and wine. And on Friday, it's poke bowl and Mai Tai. And it's for $10.
I mean,
That
$10.
sounds great.
Yeah, we watch, like after the
Yeah.
lockdown last year, we were trying to, because when we reopened back, it was in June last year, there was absolutely nobody downtown. And so to try to just have a eye catcher, then the owner, Mr. Holding, was like, why don't you do like, I don't know, a burger for $10 just to tell people that you are open. And then the burger started to pick up, and then it grew to every day throughout the week. And for people that work downtown, it's a great deal. And you can come. We have a veranda outside. It's safe, and it's good food. You can enjoy yourself before going back to the office.
Right.
Well, we know it's definitely good food. That's for sure. Aubrey, Fabrice, thank you so much for being on today's show. And, it's so good to have that forward vision that we need. And I usually don't mention things like that, but the Biden law, let's call it that, went through, and I think that's going to be a good stimulus for a lot of families.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course it is.
So thank you, Aubrey. Thank you,
Thank
Fabrice.
you.
Yes, thank you, Aubrey,
Thank you,
for joining
Eric.
us today. And
Yes,
thank you,
guys
Fabrice.
so much.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Plaisir.
All right.
Really.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Aubrey. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
See you this weekend.
All right. Hey, you and I are still on.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And another show
Mm-hmm.
that we can put under our belt or
Yeah.
under our scarf.
Or under our scarf.
Like to call that.
Yes.
And
I really enjoyed our guest today. That was awesome.
yeah, me too.
Yes. Not that I haven't enjoyed all the other guests, but you know, this was awesome. Yes.
I know that Aubrey is close to your heart, and you know, whatever they can do for the kids, it's good.
Absolutely. Like I said, you know, these kids, you know, they've been snatched away from everything, you know, their school, their activities, you know.
Yep.
Layla had a year's worth of taekwondo that she's not even able to go, and she was doing really well. So, you know, I can imagine how the other kids feel. So this is just something awesome. So I hope you guys sign up for Kids Fashion Week, the little forum that they're going to have. We're going to put the information down below so that, you know, you guys can sign up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
bye, guys.
Bye-bye, everyone. See you on
See
next
you
Thursday.
We're going to have some very interesting guests.
Ooh.